Okay, so welcome everybody to this Dressage for Kids Zoom tonight. We're very pleased to have with us Kathy Robertson, Sarah Geeky, and Kate Fleming-Kuhn. So I will turn it over to them.
Well, good evening and welcome to the webinar. And we want to thank D4K for having us on tonight to talk about the USDF Instructor Trainer Development Program. My name is Kathy Robertson, and I am the Director of Education, and I am the liaison for this program. Joining us tonight are Sarah Geeky, who is the co-chair of the committee. And we were just looking up some information, and she's actually been a certified instructor since 1995, and I believe became a member of our faculty shortly after that. And also joining us is Kate Fleming-Kuhn, who became a certified instructor at the 3rd through 4th level in 2008 and a member of our faculty in 2012. So again, we are excited to be here. We would ask that as you have questions along the way to please put them in the chat, and we will be monitoring the questions and addressing them as we go. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah.
Hi, everybody. As Kathy said, we just looked up how long we've all been involved in the program, and it's kind of scary to see the length of time, and it's gone fast. But at the other end of the spectrum, I feel really honored to be involved with such a quality program as it's gone through this growth period and has evolved and developed to what it is today. I'm going to start our conversation tonight and talk first off about what has happened in our program in the last 3+ years. You probably all noticed that we've been a little bit on the quiet side in terms of what we've been able to offer. And the reason for that is that 3+ years ago, we undertook a major program review and update. This was spearheaded by USDF President George Williams. He headed this whole program and this whole committee to basically review everything about our program and see how can we better serve the dressage community. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of the detail about what this process was, because it really led us to where we are now today and what we're able to offer you. So George, under his guidance, formed a committee which did include examiners and faculty that were currently involved in our education program here. But in addition, he was able to bring in USDF coaches of our teams, elite riders that have ridden on teams, as well as very prominent professionals within the dressage industry. So we had a really good representation from all aspects of dressage for everything dressage, so to speak. What we did with this committee is in a series of working conference calls to begin with, we discussed basic concepts about the program. First one would be, what was our present audience? Who within our old USDF certification program, who were our focus people? Who were we trying to reach? So we examined that, and I'm sure many of you remember that there was a tremendous focus back then on people that were interested in getting certified, i.e. more professional people. We then went and looked at perhaps who should our target audience be, and what needs do we need to fulfill as we progressed our program and went forward. We also looked at our current curriculum that we had that was developed over a number of years. We looked at cost analysis, and by that I mean cost not only for what it took for organizers and GMOs to host a program in a series, but also the cost for the participants. We looked at the organization of the workshops. And again, from the organizer standpoint, what was involved in terms of the dollars and cents, in terms of the manpower and the horses. And we also looked at it from the participants' perspective. And from examining these areas, we really came up with the basic concept of how can we best provide dressage education to American dressage riders today in this country. So our next steps were that George developed a very detailed survey that was sent out to a broad spectrum of people in the dressage community. We got those surveys back, we analyzed the results, we took them to heart, we incorporated their ideas and their suggestions. The second thing that happened after this is there was a breakdown of people into small working groups. And most of these people in the working groups consisted of the faculty that already existed within the program. And what we did in these smaller groups is examine in detail the curriculum, the reading lists, what can we do better, what do we need to offer people. And just to give you an idea, between the initial meetings, the survey, and then the small working groups, which I believe for about a year met once a month, and there were 3 to 4 working groups. So it was really intensive, and these people did a tremendous amount of work. That happened for a little over a year that we had that. So the outcome from all of this gathering of information and really doing some basic soul searching of how can we do things better? How can we fulfill the needs of riders and trainers and horse lovers in America? So the outcome of our survey and all of this work was really a rebranding and coming up with a name that we felt better explained what our intent was. USDF Instructor Development Program. So in this title, we find that our goal is to provide education to all riders. Even though the name talks about development program, but we are looking at not only people that are interested in perhaps a professional track, but we are looking to be able to serve all people, anybody that wants to know the reason of the what, the why, the how. Can I make my horse better? How can I get from first level to second level? How can I train my horse to go on the bit? How can I develop collection for second level? And on and on and on. I mean, the questions that we hear are endless, where people want to know how to do it, what to do it, what are the exercises, what is the pathway. So we realize that this is a really important area that we are able to answer all those questions and provide that information. So just in a little bit of a synopsis of how we're going to be going about that is, we as in our old format of the program, we still have seminars that are 1 to 2 days, and the areas that we have those in are riding and training. That's number 1. Teaching is number 2, and then working the horse from the ground, aka lunging, is number 3. So those seminars would take place generally over a weekend. The second area that we are in the process of developing and improving is online education for people that are actively involved in the program. We also will be implementing a mentor program, and we're super excited about this. So people that are serious about the program that would like to continue on in the professional track will be able to pick a mentor from our list that will be able to help them and support them and guide them along the way, and basically hold their hand in and really help to show them, yes, you're strong here, yes, you need more help there, I can help you, and so on and so on. And then the last area that we're continuing to work on is to develop special educational topics, seminars, and Zoom sessions for people that are already within the program, for our participants. So we're very excited about this, and we see that the enthusiasm and the response has been tremendous. Last year, we had our pilot program where we offered 3 of the workshops in Utah, which is not often known as being a dressage mecca, yet the program was wildly successful there. And very enthusiastic the people were. So we're looking forward to this coming year and next year, where we have lots of things in the works scheduled. So that's a brief overview of what we're doing. Kathy and Kate are going to go into a little more detail about the specifics of this next. So Kathy, I think you can take it away. And I don't know if there's any questions so far or not. That was
We have no questions yet.
general.
So thank you, Sarah, for giving that introduction and that overview. Sarah already touched on many of the changes within the structure of the program, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. For those of you who have been involved with the program, you might remember that we had workshops, pre-certifications, and then the final exam. With the changes to the program, we really wanted to, as Sarah said, identify who our target audiences were. And part of the outcome of the review really indicated that we needed to help provide education from the grassroots level all the way up through the professional level. So that is where we came up with these 3 new components to the program. The first being the online education and resources. We are in the process of reviewing all of the curriculum that we have on the website, and we'll be developing some new more detailed online education modules and providing some additional resources that will be available to the membership as a whole. And for those who are interested in gaining the education that we have to offer. The second part of that online content will be some information that and modules that is more targeted specifically to certification, and will indicate what that expectation is as it relates to the standards of proficiency for the exam. We expect to have some components of the new website rolled out here in June. But that is going to be something that is developed over time, but we are excited about making those changes. As Sarah had mentioned, now we also have new dressage development seminars. These really are taking the place of the old workshops. What's new and different about the seminars is they can be offered in several different platforms depending on the needs of the local GMO, as they can be offered virtually, they can be offered in a classroom setting, or they can be presented live, which is really our preferred method, as we would like to have our live seminars be a 2-day event versus a 1-day event. With the live 2-day events, the first day is open to a wide range of attendees. So to anybody that wants to come, anybody that's interested in the education and is geared towards that large audience. Our instructors will be talking about content from the 3 core areas of the program: writing, lunging, or teaching, depending on the focus of that seminar. And then the GMOs have the option of offering a 2nd day seminar, which is a much smaller audience. It's more targeted to those that are interested in certification, finding out about certification, and is much more hands-on. It is run in a format that's a little bit similar to the workshops, but it is purely educational. Anybody can participate in that. But to participate in the 2nd day of the seminar, you have to have participated in day 1, as the material builds on what was learned in day 1. The 3rd component that we now have, which is brand new, is the professional development pathway. Before, we didn't always know who was interested in attending the workshops for certification. And we had such a broad mix of amateurs and professionals. Now, for those who are interested in certification, they would apply into the professional development pathway. It puts them on our radar that they are interested in certification. And then it gives them access to the new resources that we are developing, one of which is the mentor program that Sarah mentioned. We have a number of faculty members, our FEI certified instructors, as well as some other industry professionals will be participating in that program. And we are going to be working with those who have already applied into the professional development component on mentors and getting mentors assigned and talking about, you know, helping them work through their needs to match them with the right mentor. Another new thing that we're developing for the professional development pathway will be monthly webinars and meetings with the people who are specifically interested in certification, giving them access to ongoing content and resources as they are working their way through the process of certification. A new component of this new pathway will be a professional development assessment, which is going to be a little bit similar to our old certification, to our old pre-certification, but it will be more educationally based. There will be an evaluation involved. It will be a scored evaluation. And in order to go on to certification, you are going to need to pass to receive a positive assessment with a recommendation to go on to certification. Now, one of the nice things about the restructuring, for those of you who have been involved in the program before, is there are some new pathways to the exam that will make it just a little bit easier as it relates to lunging. And that if you receive some positive assessments, there'll be some considerations for that when you do take your exam. The exam itself in nature has not changed. But again, you will need to receive a positive assessment before you can move on to a final exam. As I had said, we're in the process of working with everyone who has applied into the professional development component. I recognize some of the names of the participants tonight on this in this meeting. So we're excited that you are joining us and are showing a lot of interest in the program. I do want to remind everybody who is thinking about going through the professional development component of the program that there are a number of grants available through the Dressage Foundation. You will need to visit their website to find out all the different grants that are available, but there are several to those not only who are going through the program, but those who might be interested in hosting a series. There is a lot more information about all of this and all of these new components available on the website. And it will talk about the goals and the purposes of all of our seminars, as well as the professional development component, and give you the links to all the information that you need. So we still aren't having any questions. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kate, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the seminars.
Hi, I'm going to cover a bit more specifically about, and some of this is going to be duplicate information, but specifically about the development seminars, because that is something that has really evolved within our program, that we are seeking to open the doors to a much broader base, to encourage whether you are an adult amateur at training level who wants to know more about the what, the why, the how. If you are a young rider who is wanting to further your education about applying the training scale, if you are someone who wants to understand more about teaching and how to make assessments to improve your students, but you don't have the goal to go through the certification program to become certified, these development seminars are really, they are for everyone that is wanting to further their education. And there is no proficiency requirement. We are looking to provide this educational information in a friendly, fun, zero pressure way, that you are not going to be put on the spot about what you know, that there is no question that is too silly to ask. Because again, the point is to bring education to the people who are participating, rather than to find out how much you know at this point. It is bringing information and education from our program to a broader base. And so in that way, it has evolved from being a program that is more strictly focused on bringing professionals through the certification process, which we still do within the professional development segment of the program. But we are looking in a way to align more with the L program, where you can come and learn more about the systematic approach without feeling in any way put on the spot, or that you might not be educated enough to be able to participate, because anyone is open and welcome to come.
Okay, so one of the things I also wanted to talk about was how you get involved, both from a participant aspect, and if you are out there and you're a GMO wants to host one of these, what are your next steps? If you, I am excited to say that we have 6 seminars on the schedule right now, and you can find those on the education calendar on the USDF website. We have 3 that are being hosted in the Midwest in Omaha, and we have 3 that are being hosted in the Northeast. If you are interested in attending any of those seminars as either an attendee or a participant, you can visit the website and get that information, who the contacts are, and find out how to register. If you are interested in certification and want access to the resources that we have and move forward through the professional development assessment and on to certification, your first step is to submit the professional development application, which again is on the website. You do not have to attend the seminars to become involved in the professional development pathway, but it certainly is suggested and recommended if you have not had any exposure to the program at all. It will definitely help you as you start to work your way through the process. If you are a GMO and want to host a program, or even if you have a facility, your facility owner, or you're a trainer and you want to host a series at your barn, you can reach out to me and I can get you started with the paperwork that's necessary and talk through what some of the requirements are for organizing. It is not necessary that all of the workshops in your series be held at the same facility. If you visit the website and look at the 6 we have already scheduled, you'll see that for the series in the Northeast, they are doing it at 3 different facilities, where the series in the Midwest is doing it all at a single facility. Each of the seminars will have 2 members of our faculty there. That is a change that we have made with the new program. And we have found that really is beneficial to the attendees and to the participants to have two people there to work with everybody through the seminars and the assessments. Again, if you're looking to organize a program, a reminder that the Dressage Foundation has grants for those people who are looking to host the programs. Again, you can find that information on their website. And I know they have a lot of grant money that goes unused. So I would encourage, whether you're looking to participate or looking to organize, go to their website and see what they have to offer. If you have questions about the program at any point, I am the liaison to the program. You can contact me in the office. My email is krobertson@usdf.org. You can also reach out to Sarah or Lilo they're our co-chairs of the program, or any member of our faculty, and they will help answer questions or get you directed to the correct person who can address your question. So at this point, we're opening it up to questions. I see that Mary posted a link, I think, to the calendar that has everything that we currently have scheduled. We are excited to have these 6 programs scheduled. And it's nice that they are in different parts of the country and sort of scattered throughout the year. Sarah, what else can we add to this discussion?
I think I would just add on to how you were describing that we had the two faculties now that are participating in each of the seminars. And having experiences last year, I will say that the addition of having 2 faculty at each seminar versus the 1, it's a game changer. And on many different levels. First of all, you have, of course, the interaction between the 2 faculty people that have the ability to share their perspective on the given information. And then we have our interaction between ourselves. And then we have our interaction with our participants. And the offshoot was we generated some amazingly good discussions and really good questions that came up in each of the seminars on the given topic. So very, very, very enlightening and very, very good information. Really good thought-provoking things came out of each seminar. So, and the other thing I would say is that it allowed us as a faculty to be able to go into much more detail and to spend more time with each of the participants and answer their questions and help them with specific skills or help them with areas that maybe they were unsure of or maybe needed a little bit of shoring up with in terms of their theory. So I would, in all 3 of the workshops last year, I would say that by the end of the weekend, we felt that we were able to really provide so much more information and so much more help for all of the people that were participating. The other thing is, just on that note, I would say in our previous organization of the workshops where we had our schedule and our format that we did, and from the faculty standpoint, we always felt that we never had enough time to say everything that we wanted to say or answer all the questions or cover all the material. There wasn't enough time. And I know the participants felt the same way, that it was just too rushed. And in this new format with the 2 faculty, that's taken away. So it's really a game changer. I mean, we're super, super excited about the future.
We've got a couple of comments and questions in the chat. First, I do want to note, and thank you, Heidi, for pointing that out. If you go and visit our calendar for the Nebraska, the seminars in Omaha that are being hosted in the Midwest by the Nebraska Dressage Association. We've just updated a date on their calendar. They have a July event out there, and that's being moved to November. That calendar should be updated by tomorrow. Just takes a little time to get it in the system once we had that all confirmed. Then I also noticed that Jenny Johnson has posted the information for the Dressage Foundation and how to access their grants that I had mentioned. And we had a question about the prerequisites for applying to the professional development pathway. Depending on the level that you are applying for and that you want to become certified in, there might be some different requirements, but there are some basic requirements for everybody. First is that you have to be a current member of USDF, a participating member, and sign the code of ethics. You have to be a minimum age of 18. You need to be current with your first aid certification. You don't need to have the CPR certification, but you need to have the basic first aid. You have to be current with your safe sport training. And that is something that will need to be maintained throughout. And as most of you know now, that has to be renewed on a yearly basis. There is a requirement of some online education and modules that will need to be completed. Again, that's a little bit dependent on the level that you're wanting to certify at. You'll need to submit a resume. Again, the requirements for that are a little bit different, but generally it's a basic of 3 years minimum teaching and training experience. There are some letters of recommendations that have to be submitted from industry professionals. If you are applying at the basic level, which is training through first level, you have to submit 3 competition scores of 65% or higher from licensed competitions from 3 different judges. And there is a breakdown of what those score requirements are. Now, I will say for the training through first level, we do accept scores from IDA competitions for the intercollegiate applicants, as those competitions are judged by a licensed judge. If you are wanting to apply at the second level, again, some of those base requirements are also needed. But for a score requirement, you are required to submit 2 scores of 65% or higher from second level test 3. And 1 score of 65% or higher at any second level test, and 2 scores from your students of 62% or higher from any second level test. If you want to apply at 3rd through 4th level, the writing requirements are 2 scores of 65% or higher from 4th level test 3 or higher, 1 score from any 4th level test or higher of 65%, and 2 scores from candidates, from your students at 62% or higher from any 4th level test. Again, that is all on the USDF website, and it might be slightly different depending on the area that you are looking to apply into. And I will mention, which I did not mention before, one thing that is a little different than in previous years is you can apply to become certified at any level within the program. Previously, you had to start at the bottom, at the base level, and work your way up. Now, depending on where you apply, there may be some other additional requirements because you need to, of course, we need to fill in the gaps for content that might be missed at a lower level if you apply to a higher level. But that information is all on the website. We had another question. It says, can you clarify the mentoring? Is there a list? Do I reach out to the faculty members? The mentoring program is new. We will have a list, but we are going to try to connect The participants with the mentor we feel is best fitted for them. You do have to be in the professional development pathway to have access to the mentors. And as I said, we are in the process of getting everybody connected and getting all of that information out. If you're in the professional development pathway, you'll probably be getting some information from me within the next week about the mentoring program and how that's going to work. We had another question. Will the seminars be level specific? If seeking 3rd through 4th level or FEI certification, will you need to attend a particular seminar to prepare? That's a great question. And the seminars are not necessarily level specific unless when it's organized by the GMO, it is set up that way. Again, we're trying to get a broad-based amount of education out there to a large audience. So they will not necessarily be level-based. I'm going to let Sarah speak to that a little bit more because I know in the ones she did in Utah, they did some unique things to encourage the professionals to come. If you are seeking certification at 3rd and 4th level, the best option for you is to apply into the professional development pathway so that we know that's your area of interest. And then we will be doing some things within that program or that pathway that will be level specific. And then if you are looking to certify at FEI level, there is a different application process, and that information is on the website. In the professional development pathway, it's a separate application. And if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me directly and we can talk about that. But Sarah, before we go on to the next question, could you talk a little bit more about what Utah did as it related to the professionals and the seminars being more level specific?
I will. Actually, the first seminar out there was a writing seminar, and one of my friends and students, of course, I talked her into hosting the seminar at her barn. She says, sure, I'll do it. And then she proceeded to call and invite all of her professional friends to come. And they ranged from first level, training level, first level to FEI Grand Prix. So we had a mixed bag of the professional people, and it worked fantastically. It was a wonderful mix of people, where everybody gained something from each of the different people and professionals there, regardless of their level. And it brought out some really good discussions that we had. Kate and I did that together. That was a lot of fun. And that was the first one in this new format. And we were kind of feeling our way, weren't we, Kate? And doing
Yes,
a little bit of trial and error, but we had, it was a super learning experience. So that format is totally welcome to all the other workshops and seminars rather that we have. So it's not level specific unless, as Kathy said, that they really want an FEI seminar. So anybody can come as long as they meet the criteria for the second day. And of course, the first day, it's anybody and everybody is welcome. I will. Okay, go ahead.
I think in the writing seminar that we did, because we did have a variety of levels of horses and riders, we could look at how to make assessments and apply the training scale so that every horse at every level could be improved. And in that way, even though it wasn't level specific, I think that everyone who was there gained something from that. And whether you were an FEI level rider or a lower level rider, you came away with a broader base of information.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And we also had a wide range of horse breeds and types in addition. So it just made it all that much more interesting.
And I know the seminars that are being held in the Northeast, all of which are in Connecticut, are really hoping and want to encourage everybody to attend, no matter what their level of interest is or their level of riding, so that they can, you know, really further their education in these areas of our sport. Other questions? We've covered a lot of information and thrown a lot at everyone. Again, I will reiterate that this information is all on the USDF website. If you look under the education tab, there'll be a link for the instructor trainer development program. It is a lot of information, but it will talk about all the different levels that we have. And we have the all the necessary links. Also up there that we haven't talked about is our standard reading list. It is a lot of reading, I will say that. And we suggest that anybody who's interested in any aspect of the program to look at that list. And even from the very beginning grassroots all the way up through the top professionals, should be looking at this list and reading this list. We had a question. If I understand, the seminars are continuous. Yes, they are continuous. Day 2 builds on the information of day 1, because day 1 really contains most of all of the lectures. And it also includes a live demonstration with the instructors showing the technique and the skills that they're trying to teach. And the question is, if you miss one, in this case, April, would you be okay for July? Yes, you do not have to attend them all, as each one is a little more specific to the content. One being riding, one being teaching, one being lunging. And you can always apply to any seminar, not necessarily anyone in your area. For Connecticut, what is gone over in April? Okay, so let me take a quick look here and I can tell you.
It's the lunging one.
Thank you. The lunging is in April.
Lunging in April.
I think, let me look and see really quick, if you bear with me, what is in July.
Is Fern on?
For the Connecticut series. I just got to find it here. Okay, so yes, so April 21st and 22nd is the lunging seminar. July 14th to 15th is the riding, and August 10th and 11th is the teaching. Again, if you visit the calendar, you can see all of that information, and you can also find out how to get registered for these events. Questions? Any other questions? Kate, has there been anything that we've missed?
I think we've really covered a nice broad base of the changes that have happened within our program.
Okay, Lendon, is there any other information you think we need to share? Fern, can you think? We have some members of our committee here. We've got Fern Feldman, who's been a longtime supporter and a member of the instructor trainer committee. We have, or did have, Heidi Choate is a member of our faculty. So we're excited to see her joining us. Heidi, and then of course, Lendon Gray, who's been involved with the program from the very beginning, I think in the late 1980s when it was first being discussed and implemented. Heidi, London, have we missed anything? Fern, have we missed anything you think we need to share?
I think you've done a very comprehensive job, and it'll be exciting to see how these programs pan out, hopefully very successfully.
Kathy, I understood that in the professional development pathway, with the workshops would be rather how they are now, normally. And what we didn't say is whether there would be 1 or 2 instructors when you're in the pathway and in a workshop.
With the professional development pathway, when you attend the professional development assessment, which really is our old workshop, there will be a minimum of 2 faculty members there. It depends a little bit on the size and the focus of that assessment.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it then. I've just been making notes as we go and making sure it looks really clear to everyone. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. We did have another question come in. If you've taken one part of the program prior to the new program, does it count towards the new program? We are asking everybody to apply into the professional development pathway if you are interested in certification. It is a new process, and we really would like everybody to get into that track so that we can get you the resources that we now can offer to help you on your journey towards certification. It all counts, it's all great education, but that really is your first step now. All right, I guess, Mary, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for being here. I think it's exciting to be able to offer so many resources and education and really open it up to everybody that wants to get more education. So thank you very much for putting this all together.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for having us, and thank you everybody for attending.
Yes.
And again, don't be afraid to reach out with your questions.
Super. Thanks, everyone.